Hey you, hey, thank you so much for clicking play. And now my washing machine starts to shake. I thought I still had time. I have a washing machine that shakes like an earthquake. So if you hear some noise, please excuse me. It's the washing machine. I just want to make this video real quick, head out to get some food, and then come back home. And I might get a glass of wine somewhere in town because there was someone who said that they are on their day off. There's a girl I know, so I might end up meeting with her. Oh God, the washing machine is so annoying. But let me just make this video real quick because if anything, it's a pretty embarrassing video. So one time the purpose of making this video is so that anyone who's ever been rejected to their face feels like they are not alone. Like, it happens more often than you think. So yeah, that's the purpose. I hope it can just uplift someone out there, anyone, even just one person. That would make me feel, good. So this happened back at home in Kenya. Hi, by the way, my name is Elizabeth. If it's your first time watching me, you can call me Liz. I'm originally from Kenya, although my house is in Austria. And this was back at home, not that long ago. And we were just chilling by the beach. The Kenyan beach is the Indian Ocean. And they happened to be like, not really a beach party, but like a late night bathing where, because like a beach party where I'm from is a beach party. Like there will be beach lights, there will be like the whole extravaganza, but this is like a mini beach party where it's just a couple of people staying out late at a local bar by the beach, so like right by the water. And this guy and I, we kept on just stealing glances, like just looking at one another, checking one another out. And after the first drink, you're less discreet, like you just sort of like stare. And he was also just looking at me all night, and he liked me, I liked him. It was obvious, the magnetism, the connection, the thing where if you know, you know. And I was like with some girls and he was with some guys, and they were local Kenyans. There was a lot of foreigners at that bar, but they were local Kenyans because a lot of people, especially from like the States and like Europe, they love to go out there because of the tropical weather, the food, the welcoming people, the beaches. We have some of the best beaches in the world, and I'm not just saying that because I'm Kenyan, but like check out Kenya and Tanzania all the way to like Zanzibar, and in Kenya especially Diani Beach, you're not going to regret it. So like it's a beach party, sort of, kind of beach party vibes, and everyone's chilling, having their drink. There's like some reggae music, and it's just, it's a vibe. And so I'm like, is he ever going to talk to me? Because I'm not saying it, but I'm thinking it. Because like he keeps on checking me out, I keep on checking him out, but like I'm traditional like that. I would rather that the guy approaches me. Some people are like, why? But that's just the way I was raised. Kenya, for the most part, is very conservative. A lot of Africans, we are conservative people. We believe like, the man takes the lead. So I'm just chilling and I'm like, gosh, talk to me already. It's been 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Okay, this guy's never gonna talk to me. So like the night was over and he hadn't talked to me, just gave me, flatty looks. And so at some point I was kind of pissed because it's like, you either go for what you want or you don't. And if you don't, then too bad for you and too bad for me as well, because I really wanted to get to know him. He was hot, and just like eavesdropping, well, not really eavesdropping because they were loud, it was a bunch of guys, but like just from what I could hear him talk, he was definitely my type, right? So I let that go. And then because that's like a resort area with like a lot of like hotels and resorts, I still saw him a different night because he was also on vacation, just, local tourism. I was also that time a local tourist because we are both originally from Kenya. So like I saw him at a different bar, different night, And I was like, the other night, like, what was that about? And he was like, oh shoot man, nilikuwa nangoja wewe ukam ubonge na mimi, but sikuwa sure kama tukanibonge na wewe cause nilikuwa na mabeste wako, and plus nilikuwa na boys. Like basically that's Swahili for like, cause he had my accent because he's from my city, from Nairobi, and we were in a place called Mombasa, different accents. So me and him sound the same when he talks Swahili, which is the national language. And basically he was telling me like, I was not sure whether to make a move or not because you were like with your girls, but I thought if you came over, I would definitely like talk to you, like we would vibe, but like he wasn't sure. So like that ticked me off. I was like, forget it anyway, because I like a guy who, sorry about the bikes, it's the summertime, and the washing machine. I hope you can still hear me though. So like, I am the kind of girl who likes a man who knows what he wants, right? So when he said that, he turned me off like the whole night. Like, come on, you can do better than that. So I told this chick that, and she was like, so why did you not talk to him? You know, after like the third hour and you were sure he wanted you, why did you not talk to him? So she had like opened a part of my brain, which I now wish had remained closed, because that's exactly how I got rejected by the next guy. So her words stayed with me, like, why would you wait that like only the guy talks to you? Like if you see something, just follow your own advice, get it. So this time, months later, I was in Nairobi, which is now my city. And I actually remember the name of the club, Gypsy Club, because I never went back there just because it was so embarrassing. So I remembered my friend's words, and I walked up to a guy and I was like, you want to dance? And he was like, yeah, cool, I want to dance, like let's dance. And you know, we just danced. And then he was like, nice to meet you, young lady, like, you know, like nice to meet me, young lady, like, I don't know, something about that statement in itself felt like he was sort of like talking down on me. So I was like, yeah, nice to meet you, after the dance. And even during the dance, he kept on looking around. So I thought, okay, maybe he's with someone. And then he went back to sit with the boys. And then I was with some girls, and he grabbed some drinks and asked me if he could grab a drink for me. So I was like, yes, of course. And then I moved closer to him. Again, he kept on looking around, and then he gave me the drink. And I was like, so like, you want to come over and sit with us? And he was like, not really, because I'm sitting with the guys. So up until this point, I still didn't get it. So I thought like maybe later when everyone is drunk enough, we can all just, you know, mingle, because now it's still quite early. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. So maybe I'm still thinking about my friend's words that if you want something, go for it. So I'm like, maybe we can like text later. And are you going to Club Hope? Like, are you guys going to a different club? Maybe we can meet up later. He's like, like he sighed like, oh God, I have to spell it out for her. And he was like, so I'm not feeling you. So first of all, in my mind, I'm thinking, pipe down, homie. It's not that serious. Like, pipe down. Okay, obviously it was that serious. Like, I was embarrassed, but I'm thinking, no one's checking for you like that just out of pride. I didn't say anything, but in my mind, I'm like, pipe down. I wasn't even checking for you like that, right? But like, I was though, right? So like, I felt so bad. I left, like completely left the club, left my friends, nothing, switched off my phone and went. And that's the reason why I can never approach a guy ever again, ever again, ever, ever. And this was like a white Kenyan this time, because the one at the beach was a Kenyan, like a black Kenyan like myself. Now, if you're confused sitting there, like, what do you mean white Kenyan? In Kenya, we have all races, and most of Africa, because of our history. So white settlers in Kenya mostly live in the better lands because their forefathers grabbed the best lands. So if it's in a place like Nairobi, my city, you will find them in Karen and Ngong area where the land is very productive and beautiful and great landscape, and they are spread all over the country. They don't have a good reputation because of the aforementioned history of colonization, the whole master slave mentality between both we, the local Kenyans, and them. But of course, there's exceptions, and time has passed. A lot of them have gotten out of their little bubble and cocoon and even intermarried generations later. And just as a side note, interracial relationships and interracial marriages were illegal, and the first Kenyan to actually break the rules and marry a white lady was a man named John Kimuyu. He was blind actually, and a lady by the name Ruth Holloway had fallen in love with him. They caused a scandal. You can go and check out their story. I think the guy is now deceased, but their daughter was interviewed by the BBC. She's writing a book, or she's already written a book about her parents' love story that caused a scandal in Kenya in the 50s, and her name is Ndinda. But for the most part, we don't really have a lot of contacts with them because they normally go to like international schools in Kenya and just interact with other white people from like Europe. And the only contact our local people has with them maybe is if like locals work for them as what is called a shamba boy, somebody who farms for them, or like a housekeeper, or if they intermarry, which is still not very common for a white settler to marry a local Kenyan, but if they do, then that's where the contact comes from, like family contact. But a lot of the Kenyans who are married to white men, they're mostly white men from Europe, like straight from Europe, and not the settlers. That's what I mean by white Kenyans. They spend their day on golf courses. If you want to see the white Kenyans and not the ones from abroad, like tourists, the ones who are local Kenyans, you will find them in golf courses. They're always at golf courses or like racing horses. Yeah. Another fun fact, Prince William once attended the wedding of his ex-girlfriend Jessica Craig, who comes from one of these white settler families that are still in Kenya. And he attended the wedding at a natural park, which is owned by this lady's family. It's called the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy. They are one of those families that are still in Kenya because they are running, I guess, a conservancy for animals or whatever. They are apparently conserving our wildlife, or whatever it is that white folks do in other people's land. If they're not taking care of the wildlife, then they are, quote, feeding the poor, or they are, quote, civilizing the people, or they are, quote, bringing democracy to the people, when in real sense they are making billions and billions of pounds, dollars, euros by taking advantage of the locals. That is the truth. If you're angry about that, I would advise you to do your research, because this Kenyan girl, this white Kenyan girl, did not just date a prince like she was a nobody. She comes from a billionaire family that has made its fortune conserving our wildlife. I don't know who asked them that our elephants need to be conserved, because the elephants were running around in the wild just fine. We all know that it's a business, right? They run a safari business, and unless you're naive. Anyways, let me stop talking and get back to the video. Now, if you're confused sitting there like, what do you mean white Kenya? In Kenya, we have all races and most of Africa because of our history. So like a lot of them Arabs, because of like the Omani trade. They traded on the East African coastline, and then like Yemenis as well, and they still live in the coastal region like mixed race, and they speak our languages, Swahili and so on and so forth. And then we have white folks because of like the Kenyan white folks, because they are like generations from like the colonial time. And then they still have a lot of land, especially in a place called Karen, stolen land. But that's a story for another day. And then we have like, who else? We have Indians, because they were commissioned by the British to build the railway system. So like there's everyone in Kenya. And that's actually one of the reasons why a lot of white folks in Europe don't have a lot of exposure to other people, and we actually do. So that's one of the misunderstandings, because they're in this bubble and we are not. So yeah. So anyways, this Kimbo told me no. Kimbo is not a very nice word. It's not all the way a racial slur, because white people in Kenya just laugh it off. It's not like, it means there used to be an cooking oil that was white, which was called Kimbo. So like Kenyan women, when they say Kimbo, like get away from me Kimbo, they mean like broke white people. Like white people who live in Kenya and who are broke. So like they mean like you're only white like the cooking oil, but you don't have money. So to be honest, it's not a very nice thing, because like Kenyan women, when they have an argument with a local white person, they go like, shut up Kimbo. Like basically these are the broke white people who don't live on white settler farms, who were sort of like quote unquote excommunicated from the rich white people's areas because they are broke. Like their forefathers probably did not grab enough land, or some of their ancestors finished the money. So like Kenyan women will be like, where were your ancestors when the rest of them was stealing, you broke ass? And like tell them that your ancestors were probably just somewhere engaging in pagan religions. And so yeah, it's not a very good word, but it's mostly used as like in an insulting way, sort of, kind of, but not in a serious way, towards white folks who are living with the locals, who, white folks in the hood. Basically they have no money. They're just like, some of the natives, locals, and some of the local Kenyans, like just like they just exist. So like I don't know if he had money or not. I mean, he bought me a drink and we talked in the national language, Swahili. So he was a Mzungu who speaks Swahili. Like Mzungu is a Swahili word that is not offensive. It just means a white person. A Mzungu can be a man or a woman. But like Kimbo is not a very nice word. But like I said, not all the way a racist slur, just not a very nice word. But there is a racist slur which you should never use, and that's quote unquote Kenyan cowboy. There's a whole history behind it, because they used to ride horses during the colonial times. That's a whole other story, so never call them that. But like Kimbo is said jokingly, like even friends to friend. Like if a white person is your friend in Kenya and they're a Kenyan white person and they're like, let's go out to eat, and you tell them, oh, you're a Kimbo anyway, so I'm gonna have to pay. It means like you're a broke white person anyway. So like it's used playfully as well. So I was like, Kimbo, please. But I didn't say it to him. But yeah, so that's what happened. That's how I got rejected. And all I can say is like, thank God I'm married now to an Austrian man who I met back at home in Kenya. And we moved out here to Europe, because the dating game is hard. Like, you're doomed if you don't, and you're doomed if you do. Like, if you're still single, good luck, because it's tough out there. And that's the story. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Ciao.